call love, yeah, people call it a game, or they call it a very confusing emotion. It does not run the world. Other things must happen, including the inconveniences of life. So if you find yourself in a long distance relationship, does that mean that it's automatically done for because you cannot look your partner in the eye? You have to go back to the negotiating table and work with what you've got. We have to also look at people who found themselves in this situation, not by choice, but circumstances.
That's true.
So to say, as if, humans are not flexible, that I have to look my partner in the eye. Otherwise, you see, you're difficult to love. Because love, seriously, because when you think about what you have to work with, the compromises, the sacrifices to make love work, the commitment therein, it means that what comes first? Love. And then if you find yourself in a long distance relationship, a lot is going to come out, including the kind of person you are. What are you willing to do to make this work? And that's where commitment comes in. So it cannot be, yes, this has presented itself. This is the issue we have at hand. What do we do?
Yeah.
It's just like falling for someone with a child.
Hey.
We go back to love. No, seriously, these are the uncomfortable truths.
That one, let me tell you, it's a whole other conversation.
But there are people
who make it work.
Who make it work. That is where it's not easy. And it's a complex emotion. Where you thrive in something that people wrote off and said, this can never work. But you're thriving in it because you understand the wins, the gains. It's about this person. So if I have to cross the oceans for you, I'll go and bring you the moon.
And I think even when you're talking about commitment, one thing for me is maturity levels, right?
Right.
Because I've seen people who are committed to each other, but then their relationship is not mature. Their commitment looks like we hang out, we speak a lot, so that means we're committed. Then now comes maturity.
Good.
The maturity of saying, I might not even be in a position to speak to this person for 2 months, but I trust them. I trust they're going to be okay, and not helicoptering over them like a helicopter parent. It's like you're doing your thing, I'm doing my thing. When next can we speak? To have the maturity to look at your partner and say, this is somebody I trust. When you have a track record of trust again, trust does not dissipate just because you've crossed a border. That's something that for me is also very important.
Please, no excuses because of your location. Everyone has their bare minimums.
Yeah.
Everyone has what they'd prefer. If we were all to sit here and say, I would prefer a house on a hill. That is, but are you working with what you've got?
I like that.
Would you break up with someone simply because, now you're presented with this issue? How about you try? We need to live a little. And here on the Morning Fix, we're really firm in that.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to miss out on something great because you didn't try. Because they told you heard about someone else's experience, which may not necessarily be your experience. And it could actually work because that's your story. And none is like the other. You cannot envelope everything and say all long distance relationships do not work because we do not look at each other in the eye. Let me tell you, my father was hardly there, but he was very present. He was very, very present. You could feel his presence everywhere, every time. He had the pulse on everything. He knew exactly what we needed. And I can speak and say the same for my mother because now I'm a wife. So I know that it's not about that. To make it work, this is such a broad question. So you could be there. The kids haven't even noticed you entered the room because you just,
Yeah.
And there's that. So I like your point of how mature are you in that relationship? Is it worth, relocating and then communicate these things?
Oh yeah. Oh, that's
and if you know you're the kind of person, you need to be monitored. If you're the kind of person who needs to be checked on where you're gonna be, if you're gonna wonder, where are they? Look, don't even. And we're getting into a new month. We don't want to worry about that.
You need to be monitored.
If you're the kind of person who needs to be monitored, you cannot just. You're in, but you're not, and you're what? Tujiangalie, please. Before we start saying it can't work, why can't it? Could you please tell me why it can't work? Yeah. Maybe we need to put a monitor on you and figure out where you are. I don't know, David.
Oh
but
my gosh.
No, seriously, why can't it work?
I don't know. Maybe Marion's gonna tell us.
Is it the long distance?
Yeah.
Let us know.